I'm going to show you how to make these really cute spiders for Halloween. You can fill them with spiders' eggs, also known as jelly beans, and they're really, really easy. First thing I did is I got a jar with a flat surface lid. I was really lucky to find these ones that have a bit of an edge on it that meant that they could sort of tilt up a bit. But even if your head faced that way, as long as it's got a flat surface, that's the main thing. Got a polystyrofoam ball that was about the right size for my lid, so that I could, when I cut it, that will make a nice face. I just got a serrated knife and just cutting, not sawing back and forth, but just more pressing down, I cut into the ball to cut it in half. The reason you don't want to press it back and forth is that the little polystyrene bits just seem to come out and make a mess. So if you see, it's pretty easy, just a sharp Stanley knife would do. And once you've cut your ball into half, then you paint it. I'll just get rid of the splashy bits. So paint it. Now, to paint it, I found it easier to put the end on a skewer because then you can get right round the ball. The other thing and the other thing I found is using a short brush, you can get right into those little bits and pieces. I'm using a Folk Black Matisse paint. The reason I'm using that one is because it gives a really good coverage. You'll find that some of the paints, if they're just a normal acrylic paint, won't actually give a sort of a seal and a cover all at once. They'll just sort of slip off. So this one's a really good one. You can see it's quite easy to paint. It gets into all the nooks and crannies, gives a great surface, and gets right in there. So make it reasonably thick but nice and smooth. Just go over it a bit. To dry it off, just stick it in something to help dry it off. I actually got the hairdryer on it just to speed things up. That wasn't a problem. It dried it off pretty quickly. And there you go. So I've actually just put one in a stand now to make things a little easier. I already have one that's dry, because otherwise it might take a moment to dry. Oops. Just put my paintbrush aside, which I have ready. So using some double-sided tape, I just cut a few pieces around, put them around the edge of the lid. I found that this double-sided tape, it kind of almost hardens. At first it seems a little bit fragile, but then it seems to stick really well after a few days, even not so long. So I found that double-sided tape is excellent. So just wherever the ball's going to sit, the head of the ball, just around the edge of the lid. And there we have it. Trim it a bit if you want. You can also use, of course, glue or something like that. If you've got the right glue, just peel the bits off. I just find the double-sided tape is great because it's not too messy. Not too messy, and usually you can get the edges off quite well. 1, 2. Oops. Some are easier to get off than others. For some reason, you have a moment where it's good and then a moment where it's getting catchy. There we go. Excellent. Anyway, you just lay your ball on top. Now what I also do is I've pre-cut a piece of ribbon that is going to go around. My daughter has said she wants particularly to have a pink one. And just so you know, I put the double-sided tape around the neck of the lid. Oops. Cut it to shape. Take the edge off. And what I do is I make sure that the join of the ribbon is going to sit at the bottom. So I would find the bottom here and start from the bottom and take my ribbon round so that the join isn't visible at the top. There we go. And because it's going to be a girl, I found these really good googly eyes. You can get them in all sorts, but I found these really girly ones for this particular exercise. Seeing I've been specifically asked for it. These ones are actually already double-sided, so that makes my job a little easier. Otherwise I just use double-sided tape to add the ones on the other spiders. Oops. I quite like these. They've got the eyelashes and everything in there. Looks a bit of a lazy one. Anyway, the next thing you've got is some pipe cleaners. I really like these. These are chenille pipe cleaners. I just got them from the cheap $2 shop. You need 4 because spiders have 8 legs and we just double them over. Take the midway point, and this is where I just twist, and it kind of becomes like the spider's body part. Just twist it like that, and you can see that it makes some nice looking ready to go spider's legs. Then just using some ordinary sticky tape, I just wrap it around the middle to give the, make sure that there's a sort of a consistent hold together so that they will hold. Then using another tiny piece, I then just take the lid off, put the join, just cut that a bit too long. And I just literally stick it on, and I use the clear sticky tape because it does seem to go, and I just make sure it's really stuck down. Just stick it there so it's close as you can get to the neck. Oops, hang on, might help if I actually really stuck down. There we go. Put the lid back on. And then we bend our spider's legs out to shape. Bend them down at the joint. And then we have a really cute little spider. And you can fill it with whatever you like. Cheers.